Hello to you, and it's great to be back, and I'm really looking forward to making a short video today and sharing it with you. It's been too long. Now, a few of you have said, what on earth are you up to not be playing with your models or making regular videos? Well, I have to say that not only is work busy at the moment, I've got extra family things going on, and I've put a few photos in the next section. Let's have a look at these. I've got a bit of a property renovation to do here on the site. Now, it's been 21 years. Yeah, I had a look back through my records. 21 years, 2003, when I re-roofed this building and put these big glass lights in. So we've got a couple of issues that I need to address on the lead work, a bit of sealing, and I've just given it a good once over. I'm nearly finished up here now. But I've got scaffolding up inside as well, because it's a vaulted ceiling and quite high for decoration. But it's going to take me a couple of 3 more weeks to finish off this project and get it back where I need it. So that is probably my priority, apart from working in the workshop and earning some money. So unfortunately, not so much time either for playing with the model railways or mending my old cars. But anyway, it is raining today, and I thought I do want to get up in the loft and, more importantly, share something with all of you. So I had a little bit of an idea while I was having breakfast that it might be nice to take a bit of a closer look at an iconic Tri-ang Hornby locomotive, and that is the Lord of the Isles. Because let me tell you, this was a really advanced item for the time. And Hornby certainly made a lot of use of this moulding, and I think it was in use really up until not long ago. Now, we need to travel back to around 1961. So indeed, I've got this 7th edition catalogue out for you to have a quick look at. 9p there. And if I open it, look at this. There it is. Lord of the Isles, new, and a bit of impressive smoke coming out of the stack there, coming out of the chimney. And indeed, there were a couple of versions. Now, today I've just got some modern items to share with you. Now, I haven't got a price list for 61 or 62, but I grabbed a screenshot off the internet, and I know it's really blur, but you can see the R37 tender there, 7 shillings and 7p, and then we've got the version with smoke, and that's 60 shillings and 3p, and then the R354 without smoke, 42 shillings and 7p. So I'm sorry about that price list, but I did find a copy of the 61 price list, and there wasn't anything listed price wise. They'd got the numbers in, but nothing listed. Now, in a minute, we'll probably have a quick look through this catalogue, because I think that'll be fun. So I do want to run an item on the railway today. Now, if I look through, I'm just going to show you. You might just see through the glare of the box, there's a shiny wheel in there, because I've modified this one and run it some time ago on the channel. It's got an extra pickup in the front bogie for smooth, slow running. So that's going to be the one we run today, and that's a gloss version. So I'll put that to one side, and we'll have a look at it in a minute. So here, another newer Tri-ang Hornby one, but this is a matte version, and that's just another unopened gloss one. So I'll put that to the side as well. So we're going to be looking at these 2 locos today. And a really important part of this is the motor in it, because it uses the XT60 motor, which had been used in a couple of Tri-ang TT models. I believe the T93 Merchant Navy class and the T97 Britannia, and also the turntable that I've got on the layout. So it's a great motor, but in the 00 range, it really was probably only fitted to the Lord of the Isles and the Caledonian single. Now, here's a few GWR sort of coaches that I'm going to run later. Hope you can just see those. the R332 and the 333. So we've seen those before. Okay, before we get a look at the Locos, why don't I have a quick look through this catalogue with you? I always do enjoy looking at catalogues. So let's just open it up. Look, there's a Britannia on the front there. Beautiful looking item. And I think looking at this track, it could be on some of the longer lengths of Series 3. So I think I did, but I'll hold it up again, show you this lovely picture of the new Lord of the Isles. And they're supplied by J. Scott Brown, Newton Abbot, Queen Street, Newton Abbot, Devon. So service agents for Trix and Tri-ang Railways. So there's a lovely little Nelly down there, number 7. Now, still hunting out these little Locos. Actually, there's something interesting on the back cover, because on the back cover there's the primary series. Now if you look here, there's a little black version, isn't it, the 040 there, and that looks very like Nelly and Connie and the rest of them, but I haven't got one of those black ones. That's a lovely looking Loco, isn't it? Right, let's get back to the catalogue. And with smoke, not synchro smoke, just the standard smoke pipe, the soothe units. So let's have a look. British passenger train sets, lovely looking Princess Victoria there, Princess Royal, and the Lord of the Isles. Look, available with smoke. And of course the rail car there. Beautiful items. Right, let's go over to page 6 and 7. Some more interesting Tri-ang stalwarts. We've got these wonderful southern combinations there. Wonderful Dock Shunter, saddle tank. The colours are really strange on these, almost like they've been touched in. I don't know. The grey is like a monochrome picture, and then the green is sort of laid over the top. It's a strange thing to witness, but great. So different coaches, and of course it says seat units to fit these. They were available separately. Let's have a look. Some new coaches, seat units shown here. These are the coaches we're going to be running in a little while. They probably came along more or less for the Lord of the Isles. Lovely rolling stock. Just great to see this Tri-ang stuff. Look at some of these. The one with the tank, the whale wagon, and the crane. Particularly attractive items. And here's that long section of Series 3. The radius of these points, it's interesting. I think Oscar's perhaps talked about this. These are much sharper than first radius Super 4 curves. So it is interesting that some more modern locomotives struggle with these points. Now we're getting into the Phase 2 catenary here in 1961. Some lovely pictures of the parts available. This R56 is very nice. We're getting into the transcontinental locomotives now. Headlamps, always good fun. And these 3 different colours for the coaches, the blue, the silver and red and the green. I really particularly think this green is very attractive. And some of the continental range of larger wagons. The pickle car is quite nice. I don't have one of those. And this pulpwood car, of course. Snowplough, an exciting item. I do have one of those somewhere. And then we get over to some of the interesting accessories. We've got the operating oar wagon, turntable, electrically operated level crossings, and wonderful buildings. Just great to see the older version of engine shed there. I think maybe this is one of the first years that the newer version, there it is, the modern engine shed, made an appearance. Now whether these chimneys are moulded in or separate, I don't really know at this time. We've got these fencing, trackside items, we've got people, more stations, billboards. The refreshments kiosk is very nice in that blue. Now we've got these rubber models. I don't have any of these, but this is quite a really splendid looking item, isn't it? This incline. That must have looked great if you were lucky enough to have that on your layout. Now here we come to the smoke units that we used at the time, and a lot of people are saying, oh, I haven't got a smoke pipe. Well, I'm going to in a future video show you how I've got around replacing these smoke pipes. And finally on the back, the primary series. So a lovely catalogue really. Right, well I guess we'll start looking at some of these Locos. So I'm just going to see if I can slip them out of the box. So this is, I'm just going to put that back there. This is the matte version. Now we've got it out of the box, hopefully the glare will be minimal. You can see quite a splendid item. The paperwork with this signifies 1970. It's R354, 24th of September 1970. So we'll put that there. And where's the one I want to get on the layout? Here it is. Let's just see if I can open the box. So I'll just put that box to one side. So here we have a shinier version. You can just see the shine on that one. And let's just pop it down, get the instructions. And this indeed is also 24th of the 9th, 70. So that's interesting, isn't it? R354. So we've got one shiny version and one matte version with the same dates on. So yeah, don't quite know how to explain that, but here we go. So there's your shiny tender, lots of plastic spoke wheels in there, and the matte tender exactly the same, but you've got that sort of dull paintwork. I don't know which I like really the best. It's a job to know. Now let me just ease out. This is the one I'm going to be running today. It's been serviced. You can see I've got this extra pickup in the front. The wire, it's black wire, so it hardly shows, but it just gives the model a little bit more flexibility. But look at that lovely dome, and with the XT60 motor, of course, hidden away in the boiler, we've got cab detail. So it is really a lovely model. So we'll just take a quick look at the matte one. I haven't had this running yet, so this probably needs recommissioning, but you've got those beautiful big wheels in there, elaborate side frames. So normally they would just pick up from the big wheel and the trailing wheel at the back. Nothing, I think that all the later ones have got bogie pickups at the front, but it is what it is. So I think this is probably a copper ring on the chimney. Right, well I'm going to pause the video here because what I want to do is just get the body off so we can take a look at the rather excellent Tri-ang TT motor that's in here. So that's the XT60. Okay, well, apologies, that first part of the video I probably rambled on a bit too long there, so let's try and be a bit more concise. But I have taken the really quite lovely looking matte Loco apart to show you. So firstly, a very small retaining screw. There it is, little countersunk screw removed and safely placed for reassembly. And the body shell, well, it's just a very fine moulding. I love these. Lots of attention to detail, super light, but it really looks good. I mean, back in 1961, I bet people were looking at this and thinking, that's pretty good modern stuff. What on earth have we got? When you compare this to, say, an old Hornby 00 N2 or something, it's really crisp, looks just the job. Bit of cab detail in there, and we've even got a copper rim on the chimney. So I have aided our disassembly. I've already taken the motor retaining screw out. That's just a normal little brass screw, and I've released the wire to the brushes. So when we look, we've got quite a nice bogey articulated. We've got our tow hook and a sort of normal Tri-ang type pickup off these two wheels. But this is what I really want to show you, if I can just get it out. It's this slightly out of the ordinary motor, because we don't see much of it, do we, the XT60. So you can see that it's almost shrunk down. Look at the center line going through the armature. There's almost a kink in the brush, not the brush, what am I talking about? There's almost a kink in the pole pieces, so the armature sits down. The magnet isn't quite as big as an XO4. It's all very compact. So we've got a bearing in this aluminium section, another bearing in this plate that's just next to the magnet, and then our armature. The brushes, if you look at them, they look like XO4 brushes, but they're not. They're shorter. And I am going to try and show you the two together. Hopefully the magnets won't clink together. But if you look, you should see that the XT60 at the top has got fewer laminations on the armature, more compact, and the brushes are definitely shorter. Though I think the worm wheel is the same. But this is a really compact, neat little motor, designed to go in smaller spaces than the XO4. And of course, with this open frame here, when you drop this onto the drive gear, you've actually got quite a low profile motor. Beautifully made, and still going strong all these years later. So imagine if this is from the late 50s, early 60s, we're looking at a good 60-odd-year-old motor. So very nicely made, and it will continue working for years to come. Well, I've really enjoyed having a quick look at that, but I really want to do some running. So I think it's time to get the shiny, well, the gloss Lord of the Isles out of its box onto the tracks. I really hope that it's going to perform nicely without any intervention. I did have it running probably a couple of years ago. So let's get over to the Super 4 layout and just have a few minutes running. Right, well, I'm at the layout now. The sun's starting to come out. It's really quite nice. So just the job for a bit of running. And I'm just going to try and put a bit of power in and get a nice smooth move away. So let's see how I do. She's away, and what a lovely Loco this is. I hope you'll agree with me that you just can't imagine what it must have been like back in 1961. Getting hold of one of these for the first time. Let's just get a bit more speed on. And just having fun running it around your railway. Lovely sort of scale model. big central driving wheel, and it's just warming up a bit now. Look at that. Okay, well, let's keep it company. So last time, you might remember, we had a look at the Ivot. Now it's still on freight duty, but in this particular configuration it's tender first. So I think it looks good going in this direction, and it's pulling the same rake of wagons we saw in the last video, and it's making its way nicely along the downward main line. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed this short video. I will try and bring you some more content as and when I can, but for now I'm going to leave you with the really smart Tri-ang Lord of the Isles, and the Ivot still running away. And I'll let you watch these just for a few more minutes. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've certainly had fun making it to show you, and until the next video, I'll say goodbye.